Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Persons represented: Aeschylus, Prince of Verona. Read by David Montague. Paris, a young nobleman. Kinsman to the prince, read by M. Montague, read by Chris Hughes. And Capulet, read by Andy Minter. Heads of two houses at variance with each other. An old man, uncle to Capulet. Read by Alan Davis Drake. Romeo. Son to Montague, read by Simon Taylor. Mercutio, kinsman to the prince and friend to Romeo. Read by Andrew O'Brien. Benvolio, nephew to Montague and friend to Romeo. Read by David Nicol. Thibaut, nephew to Lady Capulet. Read by Joshua B. Friar Lawrence, our Franciscan. Read by Alan Davis Drake. Friar John of the same order. Read by Sean McKinley. Balthazar, servant to Romeo. Read by Scott D. Samson, servant to Capulet. Read by Esther Gregory, servant to Read by David O'Connell. Peter, servant to Juliet's nurse. Read by Jacina Abraham, servant to Montague. Read by Caliban. An apothecary, read by Lucy Perry. Three musicians, read by Laurie Ann Walden. ALM 1-3 and Aaron Walden. Chorus, read by Page 2, Paris, read by CJ No. Lady Montague, wife to Montague. Read by Christy No. Lady Capulet, wife to Capulet. Read by Corey Samuel. Juliet, daughter to Capulet. Read by Elizabeth Klett. Nurse to Juliet, read by Kristen Hughes. Servants to Capulet. Read by Abigail Bartels and Lizzie Driver. Three watchmen, read by Caliban. Jacina in brief. Citizens, read by Rice, Lawson and Lorian Walden. Stage directions, read by David Lawrence. The prologue of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Enter chorus. Two households both alike, in dignity, in fair Verona. Where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parent strife. The fearful passage of their death marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss our toil shall strive to mend. Exit. End of prologue. Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 1, Scene 1. A public place. Enter Samson and Gregory, armed with swords and bucklers. Gregory, on my word, will not carry coals, no. For then, we should be colliers. And we be in collar. We'll draw. While you live, draw your neck out of the collar. I stray quickly, being moved. But thou art not quickly moved. To strike a dog of the house of Montague moves me to move is to stir. And to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runs away. A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague. That shows the weak slave. For the weakest goes to the wall, true? And therefore, women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore, I will push Montague's men from the wall, and thrust his maids to the wall. The quarrel is between our masters and us. They're men, 'tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be cruel with the maids. I will cut off their heads. The heads of the maids the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt. They must take it in sense that feel it. Me they shall feel while I am able to stand. And 'tis known, I am a pretty piece of flesh. 'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool, here comes two with a house of Montagues. My naked weapon is out quarrel. I will back thee how. Turn thy back and run, fear me not, no marry. I fear thee, let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin. I will frown as I pass by and let them take it. As they list, nay, as they dare. I will bite my thumb at them. Which is disgrace to them if they bear it. Enter Abraham and Bulbasaur. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? I do bite my thumb, sir. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Is the law of our side if I say I know? No, sir. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. But I bite my thumb, sir. Do you quarrel, sir? Quarrel, sir? No, sir. But if you do, sir, am for you. I serve as good a man as you know better. Well, sir. Say better, here comes one of my master's kinsmen. Yes, better, sir. You lie draw, if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow. They fight, enter Ben. Part fools, put up your swords. You know not what you do beats down their swords. Enter T. What art thou drawn among these heartless hinds? Turn thee then. Look upon my death, I do. But keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me. What drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell. All Montagues and thee have it, thee coward. They fight. Enter several of both houses who join the fray. Then enter citizens with clubs. Clubs bells. And partisans, strike, beat them down. Down with the Capulets, down with the Mont. Enter Capulet in his gown, and Lady Capulet. What noise is this? Give me my longsword. Oh, a crutch. A crutch, why call you for a sword? My sword, I say. Old Montague has come and flourishes his blade. In spite of me enter Montague, and his Lady Montague. Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go. Thou shalt not stir 1 foot to seek a foe. Enter Prince with attendants. Rebellious subjects, enemies, to peace. Profaners of this neighbor stained steel. Will they not hear what ho you men? You beasts that quench the fire of your pernicious rage. With purple fountains issuing from your veins, on pain of torture from those bloody hands. Throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by the old Capulet and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave, beseeing ornaments to wield, old partisans in hands as old cankered with peace. To part your cankered hate. If you ever disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time all the rest depart away. You Capulet shall go along with me and Montague. Come you this afternoon, to know our farther pleasure. In this case, to old Freetown, our common judgment placed once more. On pain of death, all men depart. Excellent prince and attendants. Capitulate, lady, capitulate. Thibaut. Citizens and servants who set this ancient quarrel. New approach, speak nephew. Will you buy when it began? Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours. Close fighting. Ere I'd approach, I drew to part them. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt, with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who nothing hurt, withal hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging, Thrusts and blows came more and more, and fought on part and part till the prince came. Who parted, either part? Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today, right? Glad I am he was not at this fray, madam. An hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drove me to walk abroad. Where underneath the grove of sycamore that westward rooteth from the city's side. So, early walking, did I see your son towards him. I made but he was aware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood. I'm measuring his affections by my own, that are most busied when they're most alone. Pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me. Many a morning have he there been seen with tears, augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. But all so soon as the all-cheering sun should, in the farthest east, begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed. Away from light steals home, my heavy son, and private in his chamber. Pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove my noble uncle. Do you know the cause? I neither know it, nor can learn of him. Have you importuned him by any means? Both by myself and many other friends. But he, his own affections, counselor is to himself. I will not say how true, but to himself. So secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud bit with an envious worm. Ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the sun. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as no. See where he comes, so please, you step aside. I'll know his grievance, or be much denied. I would, thou were so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away. Exit Montague and Lady. Enter Romeo. Good morrow, cousin. Is the day so young, but new struck 9? A me sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast? It was what sadness lengthens Romeo's hours. Not having that which having makes them short. In love, out of love. Out of her favor, where I am in love. Alas, that love so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof. Alas, that love whose view is muffled, still should without eye see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine, O me? What fray was here yet? Tell me not, for I've heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then? O brawling love, O loving hate. Oh, anything of nothing, first, create. Oh heavy lightness, serious vanity. Misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms. Feather of lead, bright smoke. Cold fire, sick health. Still waking sleep. That is not what it is. This love feel, I that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh? No, 'cause I rather weep. Good heart, at what? At thy good heart's oppression? Why such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate, to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown, doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke, raised with a fume of sighs being purged. A fire sparkling in lovers' eyes being vexed. A sea nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet. A choking gall, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my coz. Going soft, I will go along. And if you leave me so, you do me wrong. Tut, I have lost myself. I'm not here, this is not Romeo. He's some otherwhere, tell me in sadness. Who is that you love? What shall I groan, and tell thee groan? Why no. But sadly, tell me who bid a sick man in sadness make his will, ah. Word, ill urged to one that is so ill in sadness. Cousin. I do love a woman I aimed so near. when I supposed you loved a right, good markman. And she's fair, I love a right, fair mark. Fair cause is soonest hit well. In that, hit you miss, she'd not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dion's wit, and in strong proof of chastity. Well armed from love's weak childish bow, she lives unharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor overlap to saint seducing gold. Oh, she's rich in beauty, only poor that when she dies with beauty dies her store. Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste. She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste for beauty. Starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She's too fair to wise wisely, too fair to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow, do I live dead that live to tell it, now be ruled by me? Forget to think of her. Now teach me how I should forget to think. By giving liberty unto thine eyes. Examine other beauties. It is the way to call hers exquisite. In question more, these happy masks that kiss fair ladies. Brows being black puts us in mind. They hide the fur. He that is strucken blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight. Lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve, but as a note where I may read, who passed that passing fair? Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget. I'll pay that doctrine, or else die in debt. Excellent. Scene to a street inter Paris and servant. But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike. It is not hard, I think, for men so old as we, to keep the peace of honorable reckoning. Are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long? But now, my lord, what say you to my suit? But saying all what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride. There we may think her right to be a bride. Younger than she, our happy mother's maid, and too soon marred are those so early made. The earth hath swallowed all my hopes. But she is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her gentle Paris. Get her heart, my will, to her consent is but a part. And she agree. Within her scope of choice lies my consent. And fair recording voice, this night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest such as I love. And you, among the store one more, most welcome makes my number more, at my poorhouse. Look to behold this night, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort, as do lusty young men feel when well-apparelled April, on the heel of limping winter treads, even such delight among fresh female buds. Shall you this night inherit at my house here all? All see, unlike her most whose merit most shall be, which among view of many, mine being one may stand in number, though in reckoning none come. Go with me. Go, Sarah, tride about through fair Verona. Find those persons out whose names are written. There gives a paper, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure. Stay excellent Capulet and Paris. Find them out whose names are written here. It is written, that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets, but I am sent to find those persons, whose names are here writ, and can never find, what names the writing person hath here. I must to the learned in good time. Enter Benvolio and Romeo Tutman. One fire burns out, another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy, and be halt by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's language. Take thou some new infection to thy eye in the rank. Poison of the old will die. Your plantain leaf is excellent for that. For what I pray thee for your broken shin. Why, Romeo, art thou mad not mad? But bound more than a madman is shut up in prison. Kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and good den, good fellow God. Give good den, I pray, sir. Can you read mine own fortune in my misery? Perhaps you have learned it without book. But I pray, can you read anything you see? If I know the letters and the language you say honestly, rest you merry, stay fellow. I can read. Reads Signor Martino and his wife and daughters. County Anselmo and his beauteous sisters. The lady widow of the Truvio. Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces. Mercutio and his brother Valentine. Mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters. My fair niece Rosaline Livia. Signor Valencio and his cousin Tipto Lucio. And the lively Helena. A fair assembly gives back the paper. Whither should they come up? Whither to supper, to our house. Whose house, my master's indeed? I should have asked you that before. Now, I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capital. And if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry. Exit as this same ancient feast of Capulet. The fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona, go thither, and with untainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow. When the devout religion of my eye maintains such falsehood, then turn tears to fires, and these who often drowned could never die. Transparent heretics be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun. Ne'er saw her match since first the world began. Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by herself, poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales, let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid, that I will show you shining at this feast. And she shall scant show well. That now shows best, I'll go along. No such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own. Excellent scene 3, room in Capulet's house. Enter Lady Capulet and nurse. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me now, by my maidenhead. At 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb, what ladybird? God forbid, where's this girl? What Juliet? Enter Juliet. How now? Who calls your mother, madame? I am here, what is your will? This is the matter, nurse. Give leave a while, we must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again, I have remembered me thou's here. Our counsel, thou knowest, my daughter's of a pretty age. Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour. She's not 14, I'll lay 14 of my teeth. And yet to my teen it be spoken, I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now to Lammas tide? A fortnight and odd days, even a rate of all days in the year. Come Lammas Eve, at night, she shall be 14. Susan and she, God rests all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me, but as I said, on Lammas Eve at night, shall she be 14? That she may marry, I remember it well. 'Tis, since the earthquake, now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it, of all the days of the year. Upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dog. Sitting in the sun, under the dove-house wall, my lord, and you were then at manure. Nay, I do bear a brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dog, and felt it bitter. Pretty fool to see it touchy and fall out. With the dog shake, quote, the dove-house. TWA, as no need, I trod to bid me trudge, and since that time, it is 11 years. For then she could stand alone. Nay, by the root, she could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be with his soul, I was a married man, took up the child, yea. Quote, he dost thou fall upon my face. Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not, Jewel, and by my holy dame. The pretty wretch left crying, and said, I too see now how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years. I never should forget it, wilt thou not, Jewel? Quoth he, and pretty fool. It stinted, and said I, enough of this, I pray thee. Hold thy peace, yes, madam. Yet I cannot choose but laugh. To think it should leave crying and say, I, and yet I warrant it, had upon its brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone. A perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quote my husband, false upon thy face. Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? It stinted, and said I, and stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse. Say, I peace I have done. Thou was the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish. Marry, that marry is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter, Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? It is an honor that I dream not of. An honor were not I, thine only nurse. I would say thou had sucked wisdom from thy teat. Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother, much upon these years that you are now a maid. Thus, then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. A man, young lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of wax. Verona's summer hath not such a flower. Nay, he's a flower in faith. A very flower, what say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read all the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there. With beauty's pen examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and is much pride for fair, without the fair within to hide that book. In many's eyes doth share the glory, but in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So, shall you share all that he does possess by having him, making yourself no less, no less? Nay, bigger women grow by men. Speak briefly, can you like of Paris's love? I'll look to like if looking liking move. But no more deep will I impart mine eye, than your consent gives strength to make it fly. Enter a servant, madame. The guests are come, supper served up. You called my young lady, asked for the nurse, cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait, I beseech you. Follow straight, we follow the exit servant, Juliet. The county stays, go girl. Seek happy nights to happy days. Exit scene for a street in a Romeo Mercutio with 5 or 6 maskers, torchbearers, and others. What shall this speech be? Spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology? The date is out of such prolixity. We'll have no Cupid, hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of laugh, scaring the ladies like a crowkeeper, nor no without book prologue, faintly spoke after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure, and be gone. Give me a torch. I'm not for this ambling being, but heavy. I will bear the light, nay, gentle Romeo. We must have you dance, not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground. I cannot move, you are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them. Above a common bound, I am too sore and pierced with his shaft, too sore with his light feathers, and so bound, I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink, and to sink it in, should you burden love to great oppression? For a tender thing is love, a tender thing. It is too rough, too rude.